Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this late hour in the evening. Thank you for those joining us on Facebook and YouTube. Tonight's proceedings will be very short, but very interesting. First, I will let the General Secretary of the party, Mr. Steve Blackett, give a few remarks.
Yes, thank you very much, members of the press, Barbadians. Good evening to you. Tonight is a really special night. In a few months' time, this party will be 69 years old, and therefore we are an institution that is entrenched in the political life of Barbados. This, to my mind, tonight is a watershed period in the life of the Democratic Labour Party. Over the last few days, we were privileged to sit down as responsible members of this party and hammer out an arrangement that I think will be pleasing to most Barbadians. And I want to congratulate all of those who were involved in bringing us to this point here tonight, part of all of our negotiating team, for hammering out that arrangement so that we can be proud of ourselves as Democratic Labour Party supporters. I hear the complaints that we bungle this arrangement. I want to say that the Democratic Labour Party, like I said, is a 68, almost 69-year-old institution. We have rules and we have processes, and those rules and processes have to be observed. And exactly what we were doing over the last number of days was following the rules and exercising those processes. So I'm pleased that this is a wonderful opportunity for us as the Democratic Labour Party tonight in welcoming our new political leader, standing with our president, Dr. Ronnie Yearwood, our new political leader, Mr. Ralph. And I'm happy that we're all here assembled in this room to celebrate this occasion. Thank you so much.
Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the opposition leader and the political leader of the Democratic Labour Party, Mr. Ralph Thorne.
Good evening. Good evening to the media. Thank you, Stacia, President, General Secretary, members of the Executive, Democratic Labour Party. I want to say thanks for welcoming me and admitting me back into membership of this great party. President just told me around April we are going to be 69 years old. And a party that is 69 years old must be a party with, as General Secretary said, rules. And I like to think that I understand humility, having practiced it for much of my life. And humility involves deference to rules, deference to authority. And I have no personal difficulty being humble. I have no personal difficulty accepting the rules of this party. I say that because I recognize that the circumstances of my application have been unusual. It is not usual that you come into a party and you come in at this level, and it was, Steve, I must admit, it was kind of chilling just now to hear you say political leader. I have joined as an ordinary member, but the circumstances have cast me, and I don't say catapulted, the circumstances have cast me into this office. Yet I must display humility, yet I must defer to rules, yet I must defer to the authority of the executive that I have found here. So I want to say thanks to the party. The process was a little nervous for me at times, but I understand the circumstances. I come to a party that intends to go beyond what is happening here tonight and to go to the people of Barbados. And I think we must go to the people of Barbados united. Present with us is Pastor Durant, Pastor David Durant, and he and I have had discussions, and one of the first words he used to me was the word healing, that going forward, we must heal. It is no secret that there have been tensions, and this happens in parties. This happens in opposition parties. It happens in governing parties. The advantage governing parties have is that they have access to the resources of the state, and so the natural fissures that occur in parties can be concealed by that access to resources. We are an opposition party, and look, we understand human political nature. We're not naive. We understand it. We understand what this business is about, and therefore there will be fissures from time to time, but hopefully we can display strong leadership, strong leadership. And when I say we, I'm talking about President and General Secretary and the members of the executive. That's who I'm talking about. And of course, as political leader, I have a responsibility as well. So let us unite, but the first order of business, let us heal. The word unite sounds like a good word, but there's the practical process of healing. I don't know, President, if I'm presumptuous, but I have spoken to Pastor Durant, and I've asked him to invite us. I don't know how you ask a man to invite you somewhere, but Pastor, I've asked you to invite us to your church, and let us go through this process of healing. Let us understand that there must be deference to the organs of the party. There must be deference to the people of this country who really expect us to lead this country in the not-too-distant future. And let us display that deference to God, because nothing that we do is well done unless we have God's blessing. So again, I want to thank you for this act of welcoming me back into the Democratic Labour Party, and you can be assured that I will give faithfully of all of my energies in the Parliament of Barbados. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thorne, our political leader. Words of healing and unity. Now we will have our president of the party and party leader, Dr. Ronnie Yearwood, to give a few remarks as well.
Thank you very much, Stacia. Thank you to Mr. Thorne, our political leader and the opposition leader. Thank you, Mr. General Secretary. I just want to say a big thank you to the people of Barbados, to the members of the Democratic Labour Party. And really, I want to begin this in a slightly spiritual way, because we are journeying towards Easter. And as we journey towards Easter and the resurrection of our true Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, I want us to be reminded of Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. All things work together for the good. So, in that note, I thank the General Secretary, I thank the entire executive for their patience, I thank Barbadians for their patience, I thank the party for its tireless work, once again, on behalf of this great party. I would also like to really officially welcome Mr. Ralph Thorne back into the Democratic Labour Party. As I've said over a week ago, I think it was approaching a Sunday, yeah, we're almost a week now, this party will embrace all Barbadians who share the vision of the Democratic Labour Party and who share a vision for social justice of Barbadians. The Democratic Labour Party is an institution that has been in existence for almost 70 years, as the General Secretary has just said. The party's philosophy is centered around family, community, and the advancement of youth. The party is built on structures and principles that governs its operations and functions, similar to many other political institutions worldwide. The The DLP is not a new entity, so it understands its own responsibility to follow its own constitution, its rules and governance structures. Our founding fathers knew this, and we still hold firm to that conduct today. Policy and process were two tenets that guided the deliberations of the party's executive when we met to consider Mr. Thorne's application to join this great party. As president, I have not commented on Mr. Thorne's application, as I have never discussed or negotiated on any party issue in the press or in the public. I believe that internal party matters should be discussed and ventilated internally. I genuinely believe that maturity and confidentiality are critical in the handling of sensitive matters of this party on behalf of the people of this country. One must keep a level head, otherwise these matters may descend into complete chaos. Thankfully, along with the executive and Mr. Thorne, we did not allow all of the public utterances and misinformation to distract us from our duty to discuss and put a way forward for this party and for the people of this country. Regrettably, a lot of unnecessary noise and activity almost derailed what should have been a relatively simple process. Thankfully, to use the old age adage, all's well that ends well. Ralph and I, through our collaborative efforts, will continue to move this party forward. We have already agreed that our parliamentary caucus will consist of Mr. Thorne as leader of the opposition and political leader, myself as president and leader of the party, the senators, as well as the shadow cabinet. Let me make it clear, the Democratic Labour Party is a democratic institution. It is not a one-man or one-woman show. It is not a dictatorship. We welcome suggestions from the entire membership in all pertinent areas of the country's business and of the party's business. Let there be no doubt this party is moving in the right direction. We look forward to Mr. Thorne joining us in this fight. He has been involved in active politics since 1989, so he has a wealth of experience that we can all benefit from. I am looking forward to working with the new dispensation. Together, we are stronger. As Kwame Nkrumah says, we have a long way to go, but spare a thought to how far we have come. Thank you, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Yearwood. Okay, we will take a couple questions, literally a couple. If anyone has any questions for Dr. Yearwood, you can ask them now.
Just one question, Colville Manzi Nation News. Dr. Yearwood would have alluded to the parliamentary caucus as well as the maintenance of the shadow cabinet as part of that caucus. Were there in the negotiation process any other concessions that would have been arrived at that would have been necessary to get us to this point this evening?
Thank you very much for your question. As I just said, we do not discuss internal party matters in the public. I have maintained that from the beginning of my presidency, and I hold to that. Discussions on the nature of the way forward will remain between Mr. Thorne and myself and all the executive members that needed that information. Any other questions?
Yeah, Tanisha Royal, Starcom Network. My question was really for Mr. Thorne. Given that you're now political leader, what's first on the agenda for you going forward to take the party forward?
Well, we go to Parliament tomorrow, quite literally, and I believe the estimates are done next week. And we go forward with the parliamentary business considerably strengthened by the thousands of Barbadians who belong to and support this party. So that's the first order of business. I want to tell you that in terms of parliamentary service, and I want the public to know this, that we intend to have a meeting as a matter of priority of the Public Accounts Committee. People have been asking for that, and I can say to you that if there's any delinquency in terms of attendance at that committee, you shall know, the public shall know, this party intends to take the business of the Public Accounts Committee very seriously, because that's taxpayers' money. That's money collected from taxpayers. That's money collected from the rich and the poor and the middle, and government must give account for it. Yes, so that will be the first order of business. And of course, constant engagement between the parliamentary group and the executive and the general council and the general membership of this party. We're going forward united.
Final question from me. I'm hearing two definitions, and I'm just trying to get the distinctions of those definitions. One is party leader and one is political leader. Could you just give us the distinctions, please?
So according to the Democratic Labour Party Constitution, the political leader is the person who commands the respect of the majority of the members of the parliament who sit in the Democratic, who sit as members of the Democratic Labour Party. So that person will lead the parliamentary group. The party leader is the president of the party, who leads the party and governs the arms of the party. That is the executive council, the general council, and work along with the general secretary. So to put it into perspective, if this were a company, the general secretary would effectively be the CEO of this company, the day-to-day manager, and myself would be chairman of that board. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for attending, and I want to say good night to all Barbadians, and God bless you, and I ask you and encourage you to support the New Look Democratic Labour Party as we journey to ensure that your lives are made better. Thank you very much, and good night.